Prewriting. So if you have not yet noticed, there are two things going on this quarter. You have the book Wonder, and then you're going to have a narrative writing piece with this as well. So there are two correlating parallel lessons, basically, or set of lessons going along with each other. So you're using the book Wonder to help guide you in writing a narrative essay. Okay? So lesson 6 focuses more specifically on narrative writing and less on the book Wonder. So lesson 6 is the pre-writing stage of a narrative essay. So it says right here to complete the following sentence starters. So consider this as almost like the brainstorming piece of your pre-write. Okay? So for this narrative essay, which means that you're going to pick an event from your life and write about it, you need to start processing what event to do. Right? So what life event was really engaging, really interesting that you could write about? So sentence starters, so what you're doing is you're completing these sentence starters, and that's going to start motivating you and getting your brain rolling on what event that you might want to choose. So the first sentence starter says, I was really excited when. So when was there a moment that you were really, really excited? I was inspired when. So when were you motivated to do something? Right? That's what inspired means. When were you wanting to, what motivated you to do something like eventful or build something or learn something? When were you inspired, or when were you motivated to set a really interesting goal in your life? I was helpful when. So when were you helpful? When was a time that you were super helpful for somebody? I was exhausted when, right? So when was a time that you were just deadbeat tired? Okay? This could be like after a sporting event. This could be after, backpacking across Paris. I don't know. Okay? But when were you exhausted? Write a lesson you learned from each person or event below. So a lesson obviously means that it's something that you learned, right? So this is kind of the theme, right? The theme of your story. So a friend. What was a lesson that you learned from a friend? This could be a lesson that maybe, the friend betrayed you, or maybe that a lesson that, man, friends really do stick by your side, right? Think of some lessons that friendship portrays. Childhood event. What's a lesson that you learned during your childhood, right? Early childhood. Maybe, don't splash in a puddle because you don't know how deep it is, or look where you're walking, that sort of thing. Something that you learned from your childhood. Or don't grab the cookie off the counter, right? Okay. Goal you achieved, all right? So what was a lesson that you learned when achieving a goal? What was the process that you learned from that? And then what's a lesson that you learned from a challenging moment in your life? Now, obviously, that one's going to be posing a lot of potential lessons because we always learn things when we are posed with challenges. So I do want you to complete each of those. All right, so this isn't like, I pick one here and I pick one there. No, you complete every single one. Okay, next page. So now you are going to rank events in your life. You'll be selecting high points and some of the low points in your life. Remember, you should not put anything that makes you feel uncomfortable. So what you're going to do is you're going to think of 10 events from your life, and you are going to write them down. They could be awesome events, sad events, fun events, depressing events. It's totally up to you. But if you don't feel comfortable in writing about that topic, then don't put it down. You don't need to. But the goal is to start processing the things that have happened in our lives that we could write about. All right? This could be as small as a sleepover, or as big as traveling outside of the United States, or as crazy as this quarantine is, right? This quarantine that we're living right now, this is a big life event. This is history status, folks, right? We have not faced this type of situation in our history, right? So this is history in the making, so maybe this could be your narrative story that you want to do, okay? But you write down 10 events. Some of the ideas that you could do is a time that you moved, friends that you've made, grandparent moments, an unexpected change in life, a victory or a loss in a sport, a time when you lost something, a special holiday or a birthday maybe that really sticks out to you, a moment that you felt really proud. These are all, these bullet points are just examples, right? And these are just to spur ideas. So what you do is you come up with 10 of them, you list them here, and then you write down the age that you were when you experienced that. Just do your best guess. If you can't remember, just do your best guess, okay? And then you're gonna rank them, okay? So it says here, now next to each event, rank that event. 10 will indicate the best things that have happened to you, and 1 will represent the worst things that have happened to you. So if you're like, man, my highlight event of my life is this one particular birthday party. That's the most exciting thing, awesome thing, best thing that's happened to you. That's a 10, okay? Now, if you're like, oh man, you know, my dog passed away or something like that, and you consider that as your worst event. What? Okay, so you rank it 1 through 10, 1 being bad, 10 being great. Okay, and that is that event. That's it. It's just a pre-write brainstorming page. It's to get your mindset rolling on events that have happened in your life, and then naturally what we'll do later on is we're going to pick one of those events, and then we're going to start developing our narrative essay on that single event. Okay? So again, any questions, email me, but I'll talk to you guys later.